Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, class.
Good afternoon.
My name is Sarah, and today I'm taking you through planting or planting methods. I'm sharing my screen, as you can see. I hope you're all seeing. And we'll basically be looking at what planting is and what are the methods that are used in planting. This is basically about the establishment of crops in either a seed bed, a nursery bed, or in a greenhouse. So what is planting? Planting means the placement of seed or vegetative planting material in a nursery or a seed bed meant for production. That will mean you'll take your seed. For instance, if it's maize, you take up your seeds and then you place them either in rows or you place them randomly in a medium of growth, which in our case, we are considering soil because we are planting a seed bed outside. Or you can also use vegetative planting material such as cuttings and cones or rhizomes, so that these vegetative materials will be able to produce other new crops. Yes, on methods of planting, number one, we have broadcasting. And broadcasting, the seeds are scattered on the seed beds, either mechanically or manually. In the broadcasting method of sowing, the seeds are spread uniformly. Sometimes they may not be necessarily uniform, especially when you're doing it manually. And then they'll cover the seeds with the planking or a light cover of soil. When there are large numbers of seeds, the work is done using mechanical broadcasters. Those are like you do the mechanization of the broadcasting. But in this case, also for broadcasting, the seed rate is very high because you are not like determining the spacing or exact spacing of the crops. So you'll get that the seed rate will be way higher than if you were doing row planting. And broadcasting has been used traditionally to plant crops which are very small seeded. For example, millet. Yes. We also have row planting. And in row planting, basically, seeds are planted along straight parallel furrows or holes, which are dug at a specific spacing rate. A check row planter is used for this method. That is in case you're using the mechanization, but you can also just use jembes, or you can also use ox plows, such that you make your furrows, and then you do the placement of the seed or the vegetative planting material. Your crops in this case will have a predictable seed rate and will also have a predictable spacing. So it gives you allowance of even doing mechanization in terms of carrying out routine management practices. So row planting can be used more even with mechanization. For instance, for maize, you can calibrate the planter such that they will drop the seeds at specific intervals during the planting process. We also have undersowing. And undersowing is a traditional form of companion cropping where the main cash crop is sown and then a grass is spread over the top. This means that the crop will be harvested at different times, or it may be harvested at the same time, but there are two crops being grown at the same time. Most times it will be important in maintaining a cover crop and covering your soil so that you can increase your soil health and reduce destruction of soil from runoff and erosion. It can also help with having like live mulches so that they can also provide other nutrients and other benefits to the other main crop that had been planted before. So undersowing basically involves establishing a pasture crop under an existing crop. And then we have oversowing, and oversowing refers to the practice of planting a legume crop, a high-quality crop or additional pasture species into an already established pasture field or grass pasture. This technique is used mostly in new plant varieties and helps to improve the quality and productivity of the existing pasture. So oversowing can be done by broadcasting seeds over the surface of the pasture or by using specific machinery to distribute the seeds evenly. Just like we had said in broadcasting, that it can be done either manually or it can be done mechanically. So the goal of oversowing is to increase the diversity of plant species in the pasture, to improve forage quality, and to provide additional nutrition for grazing animals. So in this case, before deciding on what method you will use for planting, you'll have to consider other factors like what seed rate do you want to plant, what is the type of planting material you are using, and also are you considering using mechanization or you're considering doing it manually. And then you'll also have to check the use of the crop that is being established. Is it for pasture? Is it for plant cover? Or is it for commercial use? Yes, so basically, those are the major 4 types of planting. Of course, there are other different types of plantings, which could include like dribbling. There's so many examples that could be used for planting, but they will still fall under either broadcasting or row planting, undersowing or oversowing. So these 4 are the major categories. Are we together?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. So up to that, have you learned anything today from today's class?
Yes. You have learned.
Okay, what have you learned, Bill? Yes.
The seeds or vegetative material
Mm-hmm.
in the nursery or in the bed.
Oh, that's nice. Okay. Any other person who've learned something and you'd like to share?
Yes, I've learned about methods of planting.
Yeah.
Which includes broadcasting, kuna row planting,
Mm-hmm.
undersowing, and
Mm-hmm.
oversowing.
Okay, nice one. So thank you so much. In for your assignment, I would like you to go through the methods of planting once more and just go check in your groups, discuss what do you think are the advantages and disadvantages. For instance, for broadcasting, write the advantages and the disadvantages, and then go to row planting and find out what are the advantages and disadvantages of using that as a method of planting. The assignment will be done, of course, in groups, and you will be submitting them in the next class as you will do presentation even in our online class, just like we are doing now. I will expect you maybe to find some notes or slides on it so that you can use them to present. Are we together?
Yes.
Yes, madam.
Okay, thank you so much for attending the class. Thank you for availing yourself. And I just wish you have a good evening.
Thank you.
You are free to leave. Thank you, Bill. I see you appreciating.
In the left.